Alright guys, welcome back to Revamp. Got another new project for the year. It's not to the level of this Datsun. If you haven't seen the first video on the Datsun, I'll put a link up in the corner here. It's going to be a pretty cool project. I'll be filling everybody in on the engine we're going to use in the next video for the Datsun. So it should be pretty cool, give a bit more reliability to the Datsun instead of the old carbureted L series. Now, this next project, I've just got it outside, just been washing it down. We've already had it for about a week or so. Graham has actually been starting to build a new exhaust for it. Don't know who Graham is. He's the guy who made catch cans and stuff for us. You saw him welding in the first video this year, catching up on the 1-tonner. He was welding up the exhaust. So Graham has been helping us out with a bit of workshop space and a bit of fabrication. He's going to be helping me with this project, and he's been building this exhaust for the new project. So it's just outside. So how about we go and have a look at it, and I'll fill you in on what we've got to do. All right, so here she is. What we have here is a 1975 VJ Dodge Ute. Yes, a Dodge Ute, not a Valiant Ute. As I've sort of explained in another video before, the bare bones Valiant Utes were sold under the Dodge banner, and this was a very bare bones model. Actually came with a 215. Three on the tree, not much to see inside. It's had a radio put in it. I'm not even sure if it would have had one fitted ever, but you can see, like, they're not a bad Ute comfort wise. Probably a little bit more room than, say, a Holden 1-tonner, but yeah. So we'll have a look in the engine bay. Right, you can see I've given it a bit of a clean in the engine bay, but yeah, this one actually does have a 245 in it. It's not just an air cleaner. 2-barrel Holley fitted to it, and as you can see down here, one of our jobs that we have to do is we are making a new exhaust system for it. That's what Graham is doing currently at the moment. That's what he's been doing for, during the last week. We've got a battery tray to replace this one. Unfortunately, this is a model where it seems that it is welded in, or it has been welded in. But, it's got its rough spots here and there, but generally, all around, she's not a bad Ute at all. So along with the exhaust, what we've got to rebuild the entire front suspension. We'll also have a look at the brakes. I think some tail shaft unis. Obviously that battery tray, the exhaust. And just have a look over it, see what things it may need in the future. So let's get it back in the workshop and up on the hoist, and we'll have a look what Graham's been doing with the exhaust. Some of this footage I've taken before, some of it, we'll take once we get it back on the hoist. But yeah, we'll get up there and have a look what we've got. that it?
Yeah.
I honestly think that the exhaust is going to have to cut to get out.
It'd be nice if we don't have to. Yeah.
Hang on.
Mate.
Graham's preparing the sort of like retainer flange for where the exhaust pipe goes on the manifold. Using a welding lathe type thing, rotator. I don't know what they call it. You'll get embarrassed if I go too close.
No, that's good.
So he's used that to get a nice even bead all the way around, so then he can shape that to suit the flange that he's had to make for the exhaust pipe. All right, so the VJ Valiant steering and suspension, pretty much the same as lots and lots of Chrysler-based products. We've got K-frame, we've got torsion bar, I'll show you that in a second. Lower control arm attached to the torsion bar, radius rod at the front, upper control arm, shock absorber. Steering box on the right-hand side, obviously for right-hand drive. Idler arm, drag link, and tie rods. So this car's fitted with factory disc brakes. Don't know if they were originally fitted, but yeah, they're factory style. Oh, they are factory. So probably first thing, gonna start pulling the steering out. It's pretty. Graham, quiet on set. It's pretty straightforward, like any drag link setup. I'm just going to pull the whole lot out as simply as possible. And then we'll probably move ahead, pull the torsion bars out and try and loosen the suspension up. So we're just getting into a bit of time-lapsey type stuff. And yeah, try and get it all out. So pretty basic stuff. Getting all the steering out, drag links, tie rods, idler arm, etc. They'll all come out as one unit. Debreaking the ball joints off the steering arms. I actually found that these tie rod ball joints were quite bad, and you can see we're using a ball joint fork just to get that pitman arm off. And that's the whole unit out in one go. So next we undo the pivot pin or mounting pin for the lower control arm, taking the tension off the adjusters. And then I moved on to the brakes, kind of a bit of a fiddly arrangement, these type of brakes, and just tie them up out of the way so we didn't stress all the brake lines and everything. Onto the upper control arms, just undoing the top adjuster bolts. That's ready to go. Now removing the clips from the back of the torsion bars so that they can slide out backwards. All right, so we're pulling the entire K-frame out. You see I just dropped the whole suspension down as one unit, took the caliper off, popped the torsion bar out. Hopefully she wants to come out friendly, or doesn't, just the way we like it. can you just like wedge that in there? All right, had a little bit of trouble there. So I had to get Graham's help, but got the torsion bar out. All right, so I'm going to go ahead now and get the other side apart, and then we'll be dropping the entire K-frame down and rebuilding, and we'll end up rebuilding the whole front end. If you're rebuilding the front end, you do not have to remove the K-frame out of the car. There's another reason we're removing the K-frame out of the car, and that's one of the other jobs we have to do. Just up here above where the K-frame bolts in, we've got a bit of bulge in the rail, a bit of rust bubbling out. That's basically come from the leaking battery tray that I showed you in the engine bay, where some battery acid water kind of mixed together has run down inside the rail and basically just started to rot the rail out from the inside. So we're going to rip it all out, clean the rails up. We've got some pretty cool laser cut laminate pieces that will go cup over the rails. They're like a laser cut channel. So we'll get the other side out. We've also got to take the steering box out. Yeah, there's quite a few things to do. We've got to support the engine from the top. So I'll get straight into it. So this is about the moment that our microphone decided to go flat or did something. I'm not really sure. So what I'm trying to explain here is just make sure that your tower brace or engine brace is nice and sturdy in position and that the engine's not going to try and tip it over. Then just make sure that you've got good solid straps or chains or just something solid to hold the engine up. After all, you will be underneath it at some point. So, an engine on the head isn't real fun. All right, you might have to bear with me on sound because mic's gone flat, but we've got the stand under here. We actually decided to chain it on just because there's a fair bit of weight in these arms. I'm going to pop those out. Just like to congratulate Graham on a sensational salmon shirt. He's got a great pair of safety shoes with socks as well. All right, so they're out. This should just come down. Now, just watch your engine at first. Make sure your engine doesn't do anything silly. Yeah. And then bring it down. All right, so that's K-frame down. While it's on here, we'll probably split the arms off it, just while it's chained under here. But you can see the engine, if that weren't strapped down properly, she'd be out of here, So, like I said, make sure it's strapped down. You don't have to be under it, don't be under it, but make sure you use a strap that, or a chain for that matter, that is in good condition. Right, so this is why, well, we're rebuilding the front suspension, but this is why we're pulling the K-frame out. So you can see just in here, all this area bubbled up with rust. And just up here, bits under here as well. We'll clean all this up. They do have these drain holes here and here. There's actually a couple little bubbles here on the front one as well. A little bit rusted out here. All right, so that is where we're up to on this sort of like project repair kind of thing. We're trying to not make it a project, but we do keep finding a few things along the way. We've got our K member out. We've got each corner of the suspension out. I showed you where we found that rust in the chassis rail. We've got a really cool fix for that.
which can also be used for a high horsepower application to strengthen the rails. But get into that more in the next episode. You can see Graham's got a good head start on the exhaust. That's looking really good. I actually, when I had the car running with no exhaust on it, it was running a lot better, so we believe that the exhaust that was on it was blocked, possibly in the muffler, but it had a lot of rust holes and stuff, so it had to go. Yeah, so if you like this project, repair kind of stuff, give us a like, subscribe to the channel, look us up on Facebook as well, and I'll catch up with you next time on Next Gen Revamp.